Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dr. Samuel Math. I'm Dr. Samuel, and in this video, this is the last video on consumer arithmetic. If there are any other topics that you want me to cover that have not been covered, then you can always inform me about it, and I will do my best to cover it. But today we look at simple and compound interest in consumer arithmetic. What is interest? When you deposit your money in a bank or you invest in a company, they pay you for that. And your investment, what you get paid on your investment is interest. So the interest is the money you earn from your investment in a company or in a bank, etc. And interest is normally calculated as a percentage per annum. The interest you're paid can be either simple interest or compound interest. So let us first look at simple interest. And the best way to explain it is through a simple example. If I deposit $200 in a bank, the money I deposit originally is called principal. The symbol is a capital P. And the bank pays 5% interest per annum. Simple interest per annum. This is the rate. The symbol is a capital R. So 5% is the rate or the interest rate. The interest symbol is I, capital I, paid every year is on the original amount you deposit. So that $200 is used to calculate the interest every year of the deposit. So we can calculate that interest. Since it's 5% per annum, the interest is 5 over 100, that's 5%, times the principal, which is $200. When we multiply that, 100 into 200 is 2, and 2 times 5 is 10. We get $10 interest paid every year. So every year, you would earn $10 from that principal of $200. From that, you can see the formula. Interest paid per year is the principal, $200, times the rate, 5 over 100, was a percentage. So this is it. Interest paid per year is principal times the rate over 100. That's every year. What if I left my $200 there for 5 years? It means the total interest paid after 5 years would be the interest per year, $10, times the 5 years, which is $50. So you multiply the interest per year times the time, capital T, in years. So the total formula for interest paid after a number of years is the principal times the rate times the time over 100. And that is an important formula you should remember to calculate the interest, the simple interest, after a number of years. So let's go on to an example of simple interest. Mr. James invested $5,000 at the credit union and received $5,810 inclusive of simple interest after 3 years. So that means after 3 years, he received the principal $5,000 plus the total interest after 3 years, and that amounted to, in all, $5,810. So the first question, determine the simple interest earned. So to find that, we simply subtract the total amount earned after 3 years, which is $5,810, and we subtract the principal he deposited at the beginning, which is $5,000. And when we subtract, we get the total interest paid as $810. Let's go to part 2. Calculate the annual interest rate paid by the credit union. Remember, the symbol for that is R, the interest rate. And remember the basic equation you have to remember for simple interest. The interest equals the principal times the rate times the time over 100. So we need to find the rate because we have the interest and the principal and the time. So to find the rate, we have to rearrange that equation. Now, when we do algebra, we will look more at rearranging equations. But just for now, let me show you that to find the rate, we simply first have to multiply by 100. So we get on both sides. So the rate is 100 times the interest, and then we divide by the principal times the time over the principal times the time. And if we arrange the equation, that is what we will get. So let us work it out. 100, the interest we found was $810 over the principal is $5,000 and the time is 3 years. That's it. We work this out to find the rate percent. So let's get our calculators. 810 times 100. You add 2 zeros to get 81000. Then you divide that by 5,000 times 3. That's 15,000. 3 times 5 is 15. 15,000 equals, and we get 5.4%. So this is the annual rate percent paid by the credit union. Let's go on to part 3. We have to calculate the length of time it will take for Mr. Adams' investment to be doubled at the same rate of interest. So this time we have to find time. It means we have to rearrange the original equation to get time. And just the same way we found the rate, we're going to get time, T, equals 100 times the interest over the principal times the rate. So let's substitute what we have. 100. Now, what is the interest? We were told that the investment is doubled. Mr. James' original investment was $5,000. So if the investment is doubled, therefore, Because the investment is doubled, it means the interest is the same $5,000. He makes $5,000. That's why his investment is doubled. Over the original principal, which is 5,000, times the rate of interest, which we found was 5.4. So that's the equation. We just use our calculators and get the answer. 100 times 5,000, we just add 2 zeros to the 5,000. So 5,000 and add 2 zeros. Divided by 5,000 and then divide that by 5.4. And we get 18.518, etc. Let's bring it to one decimal place. So it is 18.5 years. Is it? Let us go now to compound interest. And again, to explain it, we'll use an example using the same figures I used in the first example for simple interest. If I deposit $200 in a bank that offers compound interest of 5% per annum, what does that mean? It means that the interest I make after the first year is kept and added on to the original principal to get the new principal for the second year. And this continues every year as long as I keep my deposit in that bank. And that is it. So therefore, at the end of the first year, the interest is calculated the same way you calculate simple interest. You multiply the rate, 5%, times the principal, $200, and you get the $10. But then for compound interest, that $10 is added on to the $200, the original principal, to get $210 as the new principal for the second year. And so now we can find the interest at the end of the second year by multiplying the same rate, 5%, but this time by the new principal to 10. When we multiply that, we're going to get $10.50. That is the principal, that's the interest at the end of the second year. So at the end of the second year, the total amount that will be in the bank will be the principal, $200, plus the interest at the end of the first year, added to the interest at the end of the second year, which is $20.50. When we add the two, we get $220.50 as the total amount that's in the bank at the end of the second year. If we want to find the amount at the end of the third year, we continue doing the same thing. We add that $20.50 to the $20 to get $220.50. That's the new principal. And then you find 5% of it to find the principal at the end of the third year. So let's look at an example. Faye borrowed $9,600 at 8% per annum compound interest. Calculate the interest on the loan for the first year. So this time it's a loan, but it's the same calculation. The interest on the loan at the end of the first year is the rate of interest, 8%, multiplied by the principal, which is $9,600. Let's use our calculators for that. We can divide 9,600 by 100. We just shift the point back 2 places, and we're going to get 96. So we multiply 96 times 8, and we are going to get $768. So that is the interest at the end of the first year. Let's go on. At the end of the first year, she repaid $4,368. How much did she still owe at the beginning of the second year? Remember, the original amount she borrowed was $9,600. But at the end of the first year, she has to pay an interest of $768. So therefore, the total amount owed at the end of the first year is 9,600 plus 768. So let us calculate that. 768 plus 9,600, and we get $10,368. So that's the amount she owed at the end of the first year. She repays $4,368. So to find the amount she has left, or she still owes, we have to subtract $10,368, the principal plus the interest, minus the amount she paid back, which is $4,368. When you subtract that, we are going to get $6,000 as the amount she still owes. Let's move to part 3. Calculate the interest on the remaining balance for the second year. The remaining balance is the amount she still owes, which is $6,000. So to find the interest on that remaining balance, we would find 8%, the rate of interest, times the remaining balance, which is $6,000. And, well, you don't have to use a calculator because 6,000 over 100 is 60, and 60 times 8 is $480. And that is it. So that's the end of the consumer arithmetic videos for now. We're going to move on to the new topic, basic algebra, in the next video. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel by pressing the button below. You can also like and share this video. See you all next time.